country, but you know what? There's a revolution going on in this country today. It's a very healthy revolution. It's been going on, especially for the last 5 years, and it has been designed to deal with the problems that we have, because we have drifted far too away from our Constitution, our individual liberties, a sensible foreign policy, and the American people are not only tired of it, they're sick of paying for it because we're out of money and we have to do something about it. I see the crisis that we're in basically as an attack on liberty. Personal liberty solves a lot of problems. That's what our country is all about. The founders understood this. They detested the king. The king was abusive with the military. They detested the taxes. They detested the abuse of civil liberties. So they knew and understand exactly what liberty meant. That meant that people had a right to their life. They had a right to their liberty, and it didn't come from the government. It came from our Creator. And they also believed that you had the right to keep the fruits of your labor. They did not give us an income tax, and that is the precise reason we got that income tax later on. The 20th century was not kind to us, was not kind to our financial situation, our debt, our foreign policy, our monetary policy. You know, 1913 was a bad year. Security